Hey everybody, how's it going today? It's me, Captain Energy. Today I wanted to talk to you about the Livin LoFi 12 and LoFi 6 from Sonicware. As you may know, these devices are two little samplers that are meant to make music sound a little more grungy, a little more crunchy, either 12 or 6 kilohertz. And both these devices are pretty awesome. The only downside of these devices is that the memory on them is volatile, meaning that you can accidentally overwrite the built-in sounds and the built-in patterns. That's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I've had a couple subscribers mention that they accidentally overwrote some of the sounds or they accidentally overwrote some of the patterns and they want to know how to get them back. Out of the box, there is no way to restore these devices to factory. Once they're overwritten, that information is overwritten. It needs to be restored. Fully restored. It's not stored in the device, so when you turn it off and back on, it doesn't come back. It's gone. So what do you do if you've done that? Well, I'm going to show you how to back up your device and restore your device to factory. I'll also show you where you can get the sounds off the internet from Sonicware to restore them if you've accidentally overwritten them. And for the patterns, I'm going to provide you with copies of the patterns that come with it out of the box so that you can restore those if you've accidentally overwritten them. I could not find those on the Sonicware site. I'm going to mention it to Sonicware and see if they would put them up there so that people will be able to download them from the factory rather than from me, because I really don't know if I should be distributing them. So if at some point you go to get them from the link below where I'm going to put the link to download them from and they're gone and there's a message saying go here to this link, that's because Sonicware put the link up and now you can get that there. All right, well, let's get into it and I'll show you what you need to do to restore your Livin LoFi 12 or LoFi 6 from overwritten to factory standard. Here we go. All right, here we are at the LoFi 12. Now, before we get going on saving our sounds, I would recommend using a power supply because this does take some time to export these sounds and you don't want your power to die out in the middle of exporting or importing sounds. It can cause stuff to get messy. So I would advise you to buy a power supply adapter. You can get these directly from Sonicware for about $30, I believe is what they're charging for them. I have a compatible one that I use. I got off Amazon for about 15 bucks. I'll put a link to it down in the comments so you can get your own if you don't have one. You'll also need a pair of MIDI cables. You'll need the send and receive MIDI cables, and they'll either need to go to a device that you have in your computer already that has a MIDI in and out, or you can get a USB in and out MIDI cable. It'll be USB on one end and it'll be two of these MIDI cable adapters on the other side with 5 pins and whatnot. Plug that right in there, and when you do hook these up, if you buy one that's USB, it's going to say in and out on the wires somewhere. Usually it's in plastic on the wires. If you are using straight through MIDI cables, you want to have your out come to your in and your in come to your out, because it works like plumbing. The water comes out of one place and goes into another type thing. Same idea. All right, so we got that figured out. Now, next thing you're going to want to do is get yourself your overlay. This will help you see the buttons a little easier and know what I'm talking about, because there's a couple things we're going to talk about here that aren't on here. Basically, they're not shown on the actual device. You need this overlay to see certain options. All right, so first what we want to do is we want to get into edit mode with whatever sound. So I'm going to take, let's see, we'll get a sound that I brought in here. That's my orchestra hit type sound. And so what I'm going to do is I want to back this one up. So now that I've selected my sound, I hit select and I hit sample right here. That will get us into sample mode. Now let's go into edit mode, press OK. And now that we're in edit mode, we go right over here and click export. You'll see this SSEX, which is sound or sample export. And now what we need to do is we need to have our computer ready to receive this sound. All right, here we are. So we're in MIDI aux, and now I'm going to go over to actions, and we're going to go to SysX, which actually is under view. Go to SysX, and this will open up this window here. It's a little white window. This will allow us to capture this sound. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit SysX, receive manual dump. And now it's waiting for something. Now I just go back to my LoFi 12 and press OK. And you'll see the lights going across it like you see right here on mine. And when it's done going across, that sound has been dumped out to my PC. All right, so now here we go. If I go back over to my screen, you'll see that I have this right here. It says 1,100 or 114,384 bytes received. And there they are. This is my sound right down there. So now I just go right here and I say that I want to save that. Right click and hit save as. And now I'll say This is my LoFi 12 orchestra hit. Okay. And now that that's saved, it can be pushed back into my LoFi 12. So if I accidentally overwrote that, I could restore it. Now you can do this with all of the factory sounds if you want to individually. They can be restored as one big block as well, which is the way that they provide them, but we'll get to that. All right, so now if I want to bring this back in here, all I have to do now is pick a place to put this, hit Function, Sample, press OK, and now you're in edit mode on your LoFi 12 or LoFi 6. What you want to do next is go back to your computer, File, under MIDI aux, and hit Send SysX. Here I'm going to choose LoFi Orchestra Hit. Double click that, and you'll notice that MIDI aux is loading the sound across over here. If we look back at the LoFi 12, however, you'll notice there's no indication that anything is happening at all. It's kind of interesting. I figured there would be something myself, but there is nothing telling you that the information is being sent or received or whatever, except back in MIDI aux, you can see this bar right here as it is progressing across the screen. When it's done, however, we'll get a message in the LEDs that says RCV, which means a sound was received. We're almost there now, and here it is. Now what you want to do is press OK 2 times to save the sound. And there it is. In the event that you want to back up an entire bank of sounds rather than just one individual sound, which can be handy if you're distributing an entire bank, have a whole bank you want to back up for a project, or maybe you just created a bunch of sounds that you want to keep together, press Function, Sample, then select the bank that they're stored in. 1 through 4 can be reached by pressing the buttons 1 through 4 right here and having the light be green. If you need to hit 5 through 8, double press 1 and it will turn orange. That will give you 5. 2 will become 6. 3 will become 7, and 4 will become 8. I'm going to take bank 8 because I know that that's one that I can mess with. And now what I would do is press Export. Now you can't see the Export button because our overlay isn't here right this second, but I'll put it on so we can show you where it's at. There we go. Export is right here. Okay. Hit Export. And now you'll see that we have this BKEX. What we need to do now is tell our software at the PC side that you're ready to receive something. So let's go over to MIDI aux, and we're just going to hit SysX, Receive Manual Dump. And then go back to your LoFi 12 and press OK. Now the light will start to blink on the LoFi 12. Right here, see the light blinking? That means it's begun dumping the data. If you look back at the PC, you will see this numbers counting up over here. When the numbers have reached the end, it will stop, and all the lights over here will have turned red all the way up. All 16 lights will be red when all the data has been transmitted. I'm going to skip ahead to where that is done so that we can show you what to do next. So all the lights have completed now, and if we go back and look at the computer screen, we'll see that everything has been received here. I'm going to hit Done, and now you'll see right down here all the data that's involved in our bank. I'm going to right click this area, and I'm going to hit Save As. I'm going to call it LoFi Bank 8, which I've already got out here, but I'm going to do save right over it again, and yes. And now that that's saved, I can use that data to restore my bank if that bank is damaged or I want to take it off the machine or share it with a friend or whatever. In order to do that, what we would do is go back to the LoFi 12, press Select or Function and Sample, and then select what bank you want to restore it to. In this case, I'm going to put it back where it was, and I'm just going to hit Import. And now you'll see BKIM, which means bank import. The process here is essentially the same as it was to restore the sound. All we do is we go back to our computer, hit File, Send SysX, then select the appropriate bank, LoFi 8. On clicking Open, the computer will begin sending that data back to the LoFi 12. I'm not going to bother doing the full restore because you know what's going to happen. It'll be overwritten with the same thing it's already got, and there won't be any change, but you get the idea of what will happen. Now that we know how to restore all of our sounds individually and banks of sounds, let's take a look at how to restore patterns. If you'd like to back up a pattern, what you would do is first, from normal mode, not edit mode, press pattern, and then the two buttons that say octave and bank together. Select the bank that you want to back up from. So I'm going to go to bank 1. Because that's where all the patterns are on this unit, because it's a factory. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to hit pattern and select which pattern I want to back up. I'll choose 5. If I hit pattern again, you can see that 5 is selected. If I press play, that's the pattern on pattern 5. What I would do next is I would just go over here. I would press function and data until it said on the screen PEXP. Once we're there, all I need to do is press OK, and the data will dump out to my computer. So basically, on the computer side, all I would have to do is, like I've done previously, put my MIDI aux into sysx receive mode, press OK, and it would start exporting. And as you can see, numbers would go across, the export would be done, and I can save that pattern. To restore that pattern, all I need to do is play that pattern from MIDI aux like I would normally in normal mode, like you're in right now, and at the end it would load into whatever the current bank was, and I could just save it to wherever at that point, and that would restore that bank. If you wanted to fully back up your LoFi 12 or LoFi 6, what you would do is turn the power switch off, then holding down the number 4 right here, turn the power switch on, then use this knob, the data knob, to select export. Press OK, and again you'd be over at your computer with your MIDI aux up and running, waiting for this data to come over. The lights would flash and eventually go across the entire screen or the entire surface here, and when they were done, your entire system would be backed up. To restore is a similar process. Turn the LoFi off, turn the LoFi on, holding down the number 4, turn the value to import, press OK, and now it's ready for you to send the system settings back over from your computer. Once they've completed this from the computer, press OK 2 times to save them, and you'll be done. And that is how you restore and back up everything on the LoFi 12. I hope that was a helpful video. I'm pretty sure it's needed. I've had a couple people ask for it, so I hope that was helpful. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I know that was a long one. Sorry about that, but hit me up if you have any questions, all right? Have a great day. One other thing I forgot to mention, I'll be putting the full system restoration image up here for you guys if you need it, so you can restore your system to factory, which would be, the patterns would be the same, the sounds would be the same, so you'd have everything you got with the system out of the box. This should be helpful if you run into a situation where you accidentally deleted a bunch of stuff that you wanted to keep. I look forward to helping you out in the next video. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you all later. Bye for now.